Guys, we just discovered that the PS5 has a secret menu, so let's check it out. Alright, so the PS5 has been out for a few months now, and since there really isn't a whole lot of new stuff to play on it, people have been digging into the OS and trying to find some cool tips and tricks and other secrets that you can take advantage of to have the best time while you're using your PS5. Now, a lot of these tips and tricks and settings changes you can make were available on the PS4, but Sony wasn't exactly clear about what features actually made the jump to PS5, so that's why we're making this video. So after you're done watching it, you know exactly what you can do with your brand new console. So the first thing to talk about is obviously the secret menu that I teased at the beginning of this video, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm gonna come clean and tell you guys that it's not really as cool as I made it sound. But it's important because if you ever get a PS5 and plug it into your TV and realize that it's not outputting, this is a menu you're going to want to know how to get to quick and easy, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to fix most problems you have with startup on the PS5. It's actually pretty simple. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure your PS5 is completely off. Not in rest mode, completely off. So like if you've had it unplugged for a while, you should be good, but if you were just playing games and hit the power button once, you're definitely going to want to turn it back on and turn it all the way off, or just hold the power button to make sure it's off. Now, once you're totally 100% sure that your PS5 is off, press and hold the power button and you should hear an immediate beep, and then 7 seconds later after holding the power button, you should hear another beep, and then your PS5 will boot into that recovery menu. Now, once you boot into this menu, you're going to be presented with a bunch of different options, ranging from restarting your PS5 all the way down to the nuclear option, which is resetting it. But the one you're going to want to pay attention to is definitely update system software. I know you can do that from the PS5's just general OS, or you can just have the setting on so it updates itself when it's in rest mode, but a lot of people were having issues with the new spring update where they would apply it and then halfway through the process their PS5 would shut off and they need to put it into recovery mode to restart that update. So now that you know this menu's here, if you ever run into an issue with your PS5 like it won't output to your TV, or you just feel like it's running a little bit slower than usual, try booting into this menu and seeing if that fixes anything before going through the trouble of contacting Sony, because who the hell likes sitting on hold forever? I know I don't. Another cool thing about this menu is that it was also available on the PS3 and the PS4, and it's always been just as useful as it is on the PS5. If your PS4 has ever been turned off the wrong way, which means you unplugged it, or you kicked the power cord, or it turned off during a thunderstorm and there was a power surge or something like that, you've seen a menu where it yells at you for turning it off the wrong way. And right after that, it always rebuilds the database, which basically means it's making sure all of your files are in the right spot, none of them are corrupted, and then all of your saves will be exactly where they need to be. So if you're on your PS4 or PS4 Pro and things start acting weird, the first thing you should do is boot into this menu. And it works the exact same way as the PS5. You just turn the console completely off and then hold the power button until you hear a second beep when you turn it back on. And while we're talking about the PS4, I'll give you one more bonus tip. If you've ever been playing a game and you want to remap the controls but notice that the game doesn't actually allow you to do it itself, you can do it on the PS4 from the settings menu. All you have to do is head over to the accessibility settings and then go into button reassignments, and you can change literally every button on the DualShock 4. One game I really recommend doing it for is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Just make sure you remap the lightsaber to the right bumper and it'll play so much better. Since I mainly started working from home last year, the biggest thing I use my PS5 for is putting on YouTube videos or movies or TV shows while I'm writing or editing videos. I don't have that media remote that Sony sells for the PS5, so the big issue I've been running into with my DualSense is that I have to turn it on to change the show or the movie or whatever, and then it stays on for around 10 or 15 minutes, and then when I want to go actually play a game, the battery's dead. I know it's a first world problem, but it is very annoying. I know it's probably happened to a few of you out there. Thankfully though, there's a few ways you can actually get around this issue that are all pretty easy. The first one being you can just hold the PS button on your controller and then eventually the controller will just turn off. But if you want the peace of mind of knowing that your controller is going to turn off after a little while, just head into settings and then power saving settings, and from there there's a sub menu where you can pick the amount of time it takes for your controller to turn off on its own. You can do 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or 60 minutes. I do 10 minutes because if I'm putting down the controller for 10 minutes, generally speaking, I'm not going to be gaming anytime soon after that. If you compare the PS5 to the Xbox Series X as consoles just standalone, it's pretty much apples to apples at this point. Like, each one has their own unique feature, but at the end of the day, they largely do the same stuff. But one area where Sony definitely has Microsoft beat is the share button capabilities. But one cool feature with the share button on the DualSense is that you can actually get pretty granular with what it does on the PS5 by heading into the sharing and broadcasting submenu. Once you're in that menu, you can change a whole bunch of stuff, but one thing I definitely recommend changing is that when you hold the share button, it takes a screenshot. So then every time you hit the button, it's not going to pull up an entire menu. Also, while you're in that menu, take some time to dig around and get familiar with it, because you can do some pretty cool stuff, like change how long the default recording is, because it's set at 30 seconds out of the box, but I feel like most people would want it to be longer. That's just an example. One of the more arguably cool features of the DualSense is the fact that Sony built in a microphone. And I actually think it is kind of cool that the controller itself has a microphone built in. So if you have some nicer headphones that maybe don't have their own mic, you can just plug them into your DualSense and you'll be good to go. Like, the mic is not great, but it's definitely not bad either. There is an issue though where the feeling that Sony is always listening to you is there. So I'm going to show you a couple ways you can change the default setting for the microphone so that it's either off or needs to be activated by you to be in use. Because at the end of the day, who wants to feel like Sony is listening to the chat logs where everyone's talking about how hot Valkyrie is in Rainbow Six Siege? Yeah, I heard you. I know you said that. It's really such an easy fix too that I highly recommend doing it. Just go into settings, sound, and then microphone, and from there you can get pretty granular and just decide when your microphone is on. I have it set so that when I turn on the console, it's defaulted to off and I have to actively turn it on myself. And once you got that set, you can feel nice and safe knowing that no one's ever going to find out about your 2B body pillow. One of the weird things that the Xbox Series X still ships with that the PS5 doesn't is a web browser. And I know, you'd think that the PS5 would just have a web browser, but I went and looked when I heard that it didn't, and yeah, I found out that it actually doesn't have one, which is crazy because when I was a kid, the PSP, that was my web browsing machine, and just now we're in the future and a web browser on a console would probably work as well as the computers, but we don't have one. It's weird, right? But there actually is a way to access a secret web browser on the PS5. All you need to do is log into Twitter, but don't go all the way through the steps. Just make sure you get to the login screen, and once you're signed in, go to the little Twitter bird at the top of the screen and click on that, and it'll take you to your full timeline. And from there, if you tweet out a couple links to click on, you can go to any site you want on the PS5. One of the cooler things about being a PC gamer is that Steam has built-in functionality to always see how long you've spent in a game. I know the Nintendo Switch has a similar feature, but it's always been a little tricky to find it on other consoles, but actually the PS5 has it built in. All you have to do is click on your avatar and go to your profile, and then you can see stats, and it'll show all of your recent games and how long you've spent playing them. So you could see potentially how long or how many hours you wasted in I don't know, Destiny 2. That's the game I play on my PS5 right now. Or Ghost of Tsushima, right? That's how you find out how long you've spent in Ghost of Tsushima's Legends mode, which has a rate. So you probably spent a long time in it. I feel like spoiler warnings are becoming a thing of the past thanks to Disney Plus, because people will just stay up till 11 or 12 p.m. and watch the show and tweet all the spoilers out, but the PS5 does have a built-in feature to hide spoilers from trophies or other people sharing videos on your home screen. All you have to do is go into settings and then the save data submenu, and from there you can change the privacy settings and how many spoilers from games you'll see on your PS5. One of the features that I've actually become annoyed with on the PS5 is the one where every time you get a trophy, it records a video of the screen, and I get it in theory, it's kind of cool, like maybe something cool happened on screen when you got the platinum or whatever, but the console only ships with 825 gigabytes of usable storage, and every megabyte counts when you have that little space to work with. If you're like me and it annoys you, there is a way to turn it off. We're going back to the capture and broadcast submenu from earlier, and once you're in it, you can change whether or not it takes a screenshot or a video or really does anything when you get a trophy. I just have everything set to off. I don't like the screenshots and the stupid videos. I'm done with it. And the final tip I have for you guys today is to play around with the PS app on your phone. I remember when it came out on PS4 and it sounded like it was going to be so cool and have all these cool features, and it was terrible. It was like using an app that had a web browser built in and they were trying to trick you, and you really couldn't do a whole lot on it. But it's way better on the PS5. You can use it to set up the console, you can manage your console's storage, you can buy games, you can download games to it. There's a ton of stuff you can do from within that app, so if you haven't checked it out in a while, I highly recommend re-downloading it, logging in, and giving it a look, because it does some pretty cool stuff. Anyway guys, that is all the tips, tricks, and secrets I have for you on the PS5 today. Make sure you let me know if any of these are new to you down in the comments below. And remember, the best way to stay PS ready is to subscribe and set your notifications to all. As always guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.